On April 24, 1976, John Lennon and Paul McCartney nearly took Lorne Michaels up on his offer to have the Beatles perform on Saturday Night Live. A joke turned into, arguably, the greatest missed opportunity in rock history. Michaels, the producer of the show that was in its first season, spoke directly into the camera about how the Beatles had affected his and his generation's lives. He said, "In my book, the Beatles are the best thing that ever happened to music. It goes even deeper than that. You're not just a musical group, you're a part of us. We grew up with you." He then made the offer, saying, "Now, we've heard and read a lot about personality and legal conflicts that might prevent you guys from reuniting. That's something which is none of my business. That's a personal problem. You guys will have to handle that. But it's also been said that no one has yet to come up with enough money to satisfy you. Well, if it's money you want, there's no problem here. The National Broadcasting Company has authorized me to offer you this check to be on our show. A certified check for $3,000. The camera zoomed in on the piece of paper in Michael's hand. He continued, "All you have to do is sing 3 Beatles songs. She Loves You. Yeah, that's $1,000 right there. You know the words. It'll be easy. Like I said, this is made out to the Beatles. You divide it any way you want. If you want to give Ringo star less, that's up to you. I'd rather not get involved." Unknown to Michaels and the rest of the world, the Beatles' 2 principal songwriters were about only 1.5 miles away, watching the show along with 22 million other people. As Lennon said in 1980, "Paul was visiting us at our place in the Dakota. We were watching it and almost went down to the studio, just as a gag. We nearly got into a cab, but we were actually too tired. He and I were just sitting there watching the show, and we went, haha, wouldn't it be funny if we went down? But we didn't." McCartney has confirmed that this took place. John said, "We should go down, just you and me. There's only 2 of us, so we'll take half the money, and for a second. But it would have been work, and we were having a night off, so we elected not to go. It was a nice idea. We nearly did it." A fictionalized account of what could have happened had the duo changed their minds. A TV movie called 2 of Us aired on VH1 in 2000. The joke didn't end there. A month later, on May 22nd, Michaels returned with a new offer. He said, "We heard from the Monkees, Freddie and the Dreamers, Herman's Hermits, Peter and Gordon, the Cowsills and Lulu. But still no word from the Beatles. I'm not discouraged, and neither is NBC. Because of the recent acclaim that Saturday Night has received, I was able to convince NBC to sweeten the pot. John, Paul, George Harrison, and Ringo, we are now prepared to up the original offer to $3,200. Michaels went even further to entice them, offering free hotel accommodations. Announcer Don Pardo then described the amenities at the Crosstown Motor Inn, including round-the-clock elevator service, water glasses that have been sanitized for their convenience, 48-hour dry cleaning, and free room-to-room calls. While Lennon and McCartney couldn't be bothered to take Michaels up on his offer, Harrison tried to collect on the November 20th, 1976 episode on which he appeared as a musical guest.
In 1976, a concert promoter offered the Beatles $50 million to reunite for a single show. That same year, TV producer Lorne Michaels also made an offer to reunite the Fab Four on Saturday Night Live. Let's take a look at our flashback segment. What's on the tube?
Several months ago, I made a bona fide offer of $3,000 to the Beatles to perform on Saturday night. For months, there was no response, and then about 2 weeks ago, I got a long-distance phone call from Eric Idle, tonight's host, in London, saying that if I would let him come over and host the show, he would bring the Beatles with him. Well, in my excitement, I agreed and foolishly sent him the check for $3,000.
See, I thought that you would understand that if it was, $3,000 for 4 people, then it would just be $750 for the well, as far as I'm concerned, you could have the full $3,000 if the network.
Pretty chintzy.
Well, I'll tell you what. I know that there's another $250 available for the opening. The person who says live from New York on Saturday night.
Live from New York, it's Saturday night.
Rumor has it that John and Paul were watching that night, actually considered coming down to the studio.
Paul McCartney had also opened up on the incident during an interview.
This conversation, did the 2 of you ever talk about, about the getting back together? What's the myth and the reality of that?
nearest it ever came was Saturday Night Live did as a spoof. They made an offer, and Lorne Michaels, who was producing it, I know quite well now. He went to the accounts department of NBC. And he said, I can get the Beatles reunion. So they said, what will you pay? And the guy said, well, the standard fee for live acts is so-and-so. And it was like, $24, 34 cents. Right. So they used it as a skit. Yeah. And they said, if you're out there, Beatles, come on, NBC's offering 24. And John and I happened to be in his house in the Dakota while this was going on. And we said, come on, should we go? Yeah. It's just down the road. And for half a second, we nearly went.
Wow.
But that was like as near as it got, Money wasn't good enough.
Money?
$24.
Yeah,
right, right.